everyone. I'm Amber Wilson, and you're watching One-on-One with Amber today. I'm joined on the phone by Bob McKillop, head coach of the 22nd ranked Davidson Wildcats. Coach, welcome to the show, and thanks for joining us here at Open Sports.
Well, delighted to be with you, Amber. Thanks for having me on.
All right, we have to start off talking about, of course, Stephen Curry, because he's a household name at this point for anybody who follows college hoops, but he wasn't highly recruited out of high school, as I understand it. How did you discover him, and tell us about the process of getting him to Davidson?
Well, I've known Steph since he's been 10 years old, as he played AAU baseball with my younger son, Brendan. And, of course, everyone in Charlotte knows Del Curry, Steph's dad, because of the wonderful career he had with the Charlotte Hornets, and also because of the presence he has in the community. So he played at a local high school 20 minutes from our campus, and we got to see him a lot when he was a youngster. And for us, he was the top recruit we could manage to secure, and we were fortunate to get him.
All right, and we've all heard about, of course, his gaudy numbers this season, averaging over 31 points a game. In fact, the only time he was shut down this season was against Loyola when they managed to double-team him away from the ball, which was pretty incredible. I'm curious to know, when you're dealing with a kid with that much talent, how do you coach him? Like, what are the weaknesses in his game that you work on? What advice do you give a kid that good?
Well, I got to tell you that the Loyola experience gives you a clear indication why he's so easy to coach. He came to the sideline 3 minutes into the game and said, "Coach, they've got two guys on me the whole time. I'll just go to the corner and occupy those two, and we'll play with the rest of them 4-on-3. That shows you the kind of unselfishness he has. And aside from that, he will come in and watch film with me individually because he has an understanding that there are things that he needs to improve on. There are things he can get better at. He's made a transition from off the ball to on the ball this year and done a magnificent job of that. So he has a thirst for knowledge, he has a hunger for knowledge, and he continues to get better and better each day.
Yeah, and he's a junior, of course, so we have to talk about the possibility of him going to the next level. Experts actually say Curry is a little bit thin for the pros. Do you agree with that?
I don't believe that you could measure anyone as being too thin for the pros with a heart like he has. That's what should be judged, his heart and his intellect, and he's got a terrific heart, and he's got a terrific intellect.
Yeah, we have seen some kids make it just based on their heart alone. And obviously, we've talked about Curry, so you have one of the best players in the entire nation on your team. Last year, your squad knocked some big names out of the tournament while making a good run at it yourselves. How does this year's squad compare to last year's squad? I know last year you had Jason Richards, who was one of the nation's premier point guards, at least in terms of assists. That had to help you, of course. I mean, so far, though, so good this year. You only have one loss. What are your expectations? How do these two teams compare from year to year?
Well, what happens is you have to develop a new sense of chemistry every year. Just because we had great chemistry last year and we had a fluid style, everyone has a different role this year, including Steph Curry. Steph is on the ball rather than off the ball. And what has happened, though, from last year has been a boost of confidence we received from the magical run that we did have. Our guys are very confident, and now they have been on a number of high-profile stages, Madison Square Garden, Oklahoma in the preseason, NIT, Bobcat Arena against NC State, and having these kind of experiences coupled with their experience in March of last year just has made them very confident, and also been a great laboratory for us because it's exposed us to our weaknesses and certainly allowed us to utilize our strengths.
So what's your prediction? Are you guys going all the way through the dance?
I usually don't predict beyond what I control, and I control the next 24 hours of my day, so my focus is totally on our practice for today. And if I lose sight of that, then I lose sight of the ball, and if you lose sight of the ball, you're going to swing and miss and strike out. So I keep my eye right on the ball in front of us.
Spoken like a true coach. All right, you mentioned your son Brendan earlier in our questioning here, and of course he's on the team this year. What's that like, coaching your son?
Well, I've had a lot of experience at doing that since my other son Matthew played for us and graduated 2 years ago. It's been a magnificent experience. If any college coach or high school coach has an opportunity to do that, I would highly recommend it. What it does for me, it constantly makes me aware that everybody on my team is somebody's son. And if I can treat each guy as somebody's son, well, I think my player-coach relationship will be enhanced, and I think it'll make our relationship much, much better.
All right, and finally, I'm just always been curious to know, as a college basketball coach, I'm wondering what you gauge your career's success based on. Like when you retire and you decide to hang it up for good, are you going to look back on things? Is it going to be the amount of championships that you might win, or the amount of years you're with a specific program, the amount of kids you send to the NBA, the amount of winning seasons you have? What is it as a coach that you're going to look back and go, darn it, I had a really successful run at this?
Well, I've started to get a glimpse of that now because I've been doing this for so long. I've been high school coach for 16 and a college coach for 20. And the great satisfaction I have is one that comes to me often, and that is seeing one of your former players succeed in life as not just a businessman or a lawyer or a basketball player at the professional level, but as a human being, as a leader, as a dad, as a husband. That, to me, is the greatest statement that what we did during the time that we shared together was productive, and I'm getting a lot of glimpses of that now because I've been in this so long and I've had such terrific kids playing for me.
All right. Thanks so much for joining us, Coach.
Thanks, Amber.
All right. That's going to do it for a one-on-one with Amber. Thanks again to Coach Bob McKillop. We'll see you next time. So you think you can tackle a pro? There's only one way to find out. Click on fantasy at opensports.com.